The Emerald Lands, or Rokugan in the tongue of its people, comprise a vast, majestic countryside that stretches 900 miles from the pine valleys and snow capped peaks of the Great Wall of the North Mountains at one end to the austere Carpenter Wall standing vigil along the country's desolate southern border.
Beyond the wall lies the Shadowland, a blighted land tainted by the influence of hell itself, and dangerous for even the most legendary heroes to step foot within. At its widest point, Rokugan measures 600 miles, from the Sea of the Sun Goddess in the east to the burning sands in the west. Within its borders, bountiful plains ripple gold in the sunlight, and primordial forests hide mysterious spirits and dangerous creatures.
Hot springs straddle mountain ranges and hills laden with precious gems and minerals. Countless rivers, lakes, and streams wind their way toward the ocean, where fish, seaweed, and pearls are netted by divers and fishermen. Crimson Torii mark the gateway to sacred spaces, which exist alongside the sprawling cities and huddled hamlets of human civilization.
Each of the seven great clans presides over a different corner of the empire, protecting the natural harmony of the land and the kami that dwell there. Shrines and temples dot the landscape, marking places of spiritual power and contemplation. Fortifications, large and small, protect the roads, bridges, mountain passes, and the domains of great lords.
In the shadows of these castles, towns and villages prosper from the efforts of craftspeople and artisans. Beyond the city limits, peasants toil over rice paddies and fields of grain, or hunt and gather the bounty of the forest. To travel the empire on its few roads, samurai must obtain special papers and pay a tax towards their upkeep.
Merchants' carts and horses are banned from the imperial highways altogether, forcing them to rely on special trade routes to carry goods between cities. Given the size of the empire and the difficulty of journeying, few get to witness the variety of the empire's vistas in one lifetime. Instead, citizens are deeply in tune with the natural cycles of the provinces they call home. The heavens bring four seasons to the empire, which are celebrated by festivals and arts. In the spring, the delicate fragrance of cherry blossoms wafts from misty gardens. Summer heralds rains and oppressive heat, slowly giving way to autumn's brilliant scarlet leaves, shrill cicada cries, and typhoons. Winter buries the lands in deep snow, closing mountain passes and driving the citizenry to the warmth and comfort of the hearth. The Code of Bushido, literally the way of the warrior. Bushido is the code by which all samurai in Rokugan strive to live, yet each clan's interpretation of the tenets of Bushido is slightly different. All samurai are taught to embrace the ideals of Bushido and strive ever towards them, at the expense of personal gain. Not even the gods uphold Bushido without flaw. The strictures are nearly impossible to maintain in their entirety, and the struggle to adhere to them consumes a samurai's existence. The virtues recognized by the code are compassion, courage, courtesy, duty, honor, righteousness, and sincerity.
Compassion. Through intense training, the samurai becomes quick and strong. They're not as other people. They develop a power that must be used for the good of all. They have compassion. They help their fellows at every opportunity. If an opportunity does not arise, they go out of their way to find one. The celestial heavens appointed the lords and samurai of Rokugan to rule over the lower caste. But with power comes responsibility. Compassion represents the noblesse oblige of the samurai caste to the peasantry. Most clans interpret this to mean extending physical protection over peasants, but other clans go even further.
Courage. Rise up above the masses of people who are afraid to act. Samurai must have heroic courage. It is absolutely risky. It is dangerous. Only in acceptance of one's death may a samurai live their life completely, fully, and wonderfully. Courage is not blind, it is intelligent and strong. Replace fear with respect and caution. Every samurai lives 3 feet from death at all times. A samurai must be prepared to give their life for their lord, their clan, and the empire at a moment's notice. To die in service of one's lord furthers one's karma, and thus samurai eagerly embrace the idea of a noble death in service to their family.
Courtesy. Samurai have no reason to be cruel. They do not need to prove their strength. Samurai is courteous even to their enemies. Without this outward show of respect, we are nothing more than animals. A samurai is not only respected for their strength in battle, but also by their dealings with others. The true inner strength of a samurai becomes apparent during difficult times. Social order isn't just important to Rokugan, it is, in a literal manner, what the heavens rest upon. A samurai is required to maintain appearances and withstand adversity, exhibiting courteousness even when faced with the most vile lack of it.
Duty. For the samurai, having done something or said something, they know they own that thing. They are responsible for it in all the consequences that follow. A samurai is intensely loyal to those in their care. To those they are responsible for, they remain fiercely true. Samurai are expected to do their duty to their lord and their subordinates without hesitation or reservation, no matter the cost to their own reputation. Of course, any duty given by their lord is expected to be within the bounds of Bushido and bring honor to the samurai by obeying it. Should a samurai feel their duty conflicts with the other virtues of Bushido, they may commit seppuku in protest, a rare exception to needing a lord's permission to end one's life. The sentiment is impossible to ignore. The lord has forfeited the samurai's honor, and no one without honor is fit to serve.
Honor. A true samurai has only one judge of their honor, and that is themselves. Decisions you make and how those decisions are carried out are a reflection of who you truly are, for you cannot hide from yourself. Honor is the most subtle, yet the most basic and all encompassing virtue. Samurai without honor cannot truly follow the other virtues of Bushido, for they act as others expect and not as their own conscience dictates. If their own honor is intact, however, they will follow the ways of Bushido and pursue justice without flaw or failure, even when commanded otherwise by their lord.
Righteousness. Be acutely honest in all your dealings with all people. Believe in justice, not from other people, but from yourself. A true samurai knows in their heart that there are no shades of gray in the question of honesty and justice. There is only right and wrong. Righteousness is the sunlight glinting off the katana, bright and painful to the eye. There is only truth and falsehood, justice and injustice, and it is the samurai's job to live in accordance with justice and ensure that justice is meted out.
Sincerity. When a samurai has said they will perform an action, it is as good as done. Nothing will stop them from completing their deed. They do not have to give their word, nor do they have to promise. The action of speaking alone has set the act of doing in motion. Speaking and doing are the same thing. Samurai must align intent with their word and deed, acting with complete and total conviction, whether they serve themselves or their lord. A convincing manner is more valued in Rokugan than the absolute truth, for the samurai who speaks with sincerity has committed the totality of their being to the sentiment.
Hello, Rim Alternus fans. We're live. We're doing the Legend of Five Rings today, Friday evening. Looks like everything is rolling pretty swell. Good to see it. And I see we got an audience. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Hal. I'll be doing the game mastering tonight for Legend of Five Rings, Samurai role-playing in Rokugan. We are going to be missing one of our cast members this week, but let's go around and introduce ourselves and our characters that we're going to play. I'd like to hear you tell the audience not just your character's name, but let's also talk about your your advantages and disadvantages. So that tells us a lot about your characters. So let's start with Chris and go around the circle.
Oh man, putting me on the spot, new guy. All right, so getting Kage's sheet right here. Advantages and disadvantages.
Well, first tell us
So,
about Kage.
Hi guys, I'm Chris Wegner. Been playing tabletop RPGs for about 10 years. Recently joined Rim Alternus, and I play as Kage the Ronin. So advantages and disadvantages. So I would say one of my advantage is light sleeper, which is part of water stance or part of the water ring. It allows me to rouse from sleep very easily, a trick considered essential in hostile territory. I am trained to awaken before danger arrives, sleep with my weapons ready, and pretend to be in a deep sleep to lure enemies closer. And my adversities is related to why Kage always has his left hand hidden in his Hakama at all times, is Lost Hand, which is part of the Fire Ring. Characters with the Lost Hand adversity only have one hand or arm. It's pretty self-explanatory.
Yep.
So there's that.
Everyone also has passions and anxieties.
So you want me to go through those too?
You don't have to say the rules. Just tell us about what they are.
Passions for Kage is gourmet and sake. So he's a foodie. And anxieties is false identity, because Kage is his Ronin name, not his real name.
Okay. So as a rules mechanic, for those who haven't played this before, distinctions are something that your character is known for. An adversity is kind of something bad that affects your character or that you're known for. Passions are things that you like, that's mechanically represented by you being able to heal some strife while you do these things. And then anxieties are the opposite. These things cause strife for you. Okay, so thank you, Chris. We're going to have some fun with Kage tonight, I'm sure. Zafira, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us about Akane?
Sure thing. Akane is
Nice.
Oh wow, wow! I completely spaced out. I am a courtier of the Shosuro school. As far as advantages, disadvantages, I have criminal connections and ambidexterity. Criminal connections. Clearly, I know people in certain places, which I think is valuable. And ambidexterity is also extremely valuable, especially if you have to do some offhanded stuff, which, in theory, I definitely will. Disadvantages are Benton's Curse. I actually kind of forget this one.
Benton's Curse, if I remember right, Benton is the fortune of love, and if you're cursed by the goddess of love, that you're going to have a hard time finding a significant other.
Yes. I am just hard to love, but that's okay because my passion is sake.
Another one.
Oh,
and
yeah.
my anxiety being delusions of grandeur. I'm a very ambitious character, and that is much to my downfall in this particular context.
Yeah, as a cool setting bit of lore, when you're in a social situation and you're allowed to keep your swords, but it's supposed to be a peaceful thing, you wear your swords on the wrong side so that it's hard for you to draw them. But of course, some scorpions like to train so that they can draw from either side, so that they're not really handicapped by wearing their swords on the wrong side. So Akane sounds like one of those sneaky types.
Hi, everybody. I'm James. I'm playing Akoma Saito. He is a courtier type character of the Lion Shadow School. His advantages, he has an effect of harmlessness which basically gives him a affectation of being weaker or less intimidating than everybody else in the room. His passion is pot stirring, because what good is a court if you can't get people angry at each other? His disadvantages is clumsiness, which he's not really like a super agile guy. And he also has I'm going to butcher this name, by the way, Fuku Rokujin's curse, which he's not much of an academic. It takes him a little while to understand academics, a little bit longer than everybody else. And as has been the want of this group, we have multiple people with multiple of the exact same advantage or disadvantage. I also have delusions of grandeur, because I long to be remembered in the annals of history, similarly to my ancestor, the great Akoma himself.
Well, it helps that you're in Akoma, because they're the ones who write the histories.
Exactly.
He's gonna just fit himself in. I did that. Yep.
In case you didn't know, I've saved the entire empire 3 different times.
I'm sure that's a tale yet to be told.
So, again, my name is Patrick Bryant. I am playing Doji Nai. I am a Crane Shugenja who is working for this, who has been taught by the Scorpion School of Sociolutionists. My advantage is I'm a subtle observer, so I can pick out real small details really well. Regarding my backstory, this helped out quite a bit with me being able to see through some of my uncle's treachery. So, in my backstory, my uncle's not that great of a person, but the downside, he's my lord. So I'm bound to serve this person who worked against my father and eventually led to his death. My disadvantage, or my adversity is a disdain for honor. This leads into that whole shenanigans of my uncle. So because of the honor of Bushido, because of the tenets of all those things, my father was not justly served and eventually lost his life as a result of the machinations of my uncle. So I have a little bit of a loss of love for some of those tenets. As far as my passion, my character loves to arrange flowers in a tradition called ikebana. And I probably butchered that, but so to relax or to basically express himself, he likes to arrange flowers in intricate patterns, and this is a passion that was taught to him by his father. My anxiety is that I have a dark secret, and that is the fact that I have no love for my lord, which is extremely counter to what a samurai should do. So I can't let my lord know directly. I can't let anyone that I'm really with know that I'm not doing what a good samurai should be doing, or I don't desire to do what a good samurai should be doing.
Okay. So we have quite the cast of characters. That's kind of the shadowy, shady side of Rokugan represented here in our group. But those are the guys who get things done. So
the more human side of Rokugan.
Chris, I believe, exactly. Yeah, not everyone is an Akoma commander of pure souled and pious. That's they're rarer than they say they are. Chris, I believe you said you had an announcement.
Me?
In the chat, or was that somebody else? That might have been somebody else.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, Jade Moon gave Kage the Rone 3 silver Rone, he typed.
Oh.
Italian Ronin, a cut above the rest. So 3 silver gifts, which is bonus skill die. So I have 3 bonus skill die to expend.
Okay. Thank you, Jade Moon. And just as a refresher for the audience, especially anybody who might just be tuning in for the first time, what we're playing is kind of a staple in L5R, playing deputies to a magistrate. The in-universe title is Eureki. And as Eureki to this magistrate, you guys are assigned the unwanted task of policing Biden Pass, which is between two hostile great clans, the Lion and the Scorpion. Neither one wants to allow the other one to have control of the pass, so it's a kind of a no man's land. Up until the magistrate that you work for has decided to take it upon herself to try to bring law and order to this heavily trafficked pass, which brought you to the adventure you're currently pursuing. You were sent to rescue a merchant who fell victim to a washout, and you've discovered that washout may have had something to do with bandit activity. The merchant is dead, and you're tracking the bandits back to a hideout in the shadows, the lesser passes higher up than the main pass. Chris, we also last week kind of did a flashback scene where he did some investigation in town into the background of this merchant that you were trying to rescue, which you have since discovered he's dead. I will let Kage tell you guys what he learned before we jump back into the action.
So, Kage will tell the group that this merchant was meant to meet up with what was it? Got to pull up my notes here. Notes
A
are
merchant.
useful. The what?
A merchant.
A merchant. I'm looking at my notes, and it didn't look like it's saved from the last session. Would you mind aiding me on this one, Hal?
I would have to
Very sorry.
rewatch the stream because I made it up on the spot. So
Oh man. I will say, Kage went to a tavern, his usual tavern he goes to, and eavesdropped and spoke with a merchant. I remember who said that their friend was supposed to meet them here, but they didn't, and they were acting unusual, brash, rude to them, and they haven't seen them since. So that is what Kage learned before heading out and finding you guys out here. He also got the good horse to get to you guys fast.
yes. So what you found out was that this Yasuki merchant is kind of said, in a loose, inaccurate sense. He is of the samurai class. Usually, samurai don't deal with matters of coin and trade, but the Yasuki family are one of the few that don't find dishonor in it. So he's one of those. And as a member of the samurai caste, he's head and shoulders above the merchants, who are very low on the peasant pecking order. But this merchant, samurai, like to hang out with certain merchants, and that's kind of a scandalous, crossing classes.
They went out to go like gamble and stuff.
Right. So yeah, it's he would fraternize with the lower classes and gamble with them, and but not lately, and they don't know why. So we, you guys resolved that he's dead. His swords are missing. His head is missing. There was a secret compartment in his wagon where small valuables would be stored, but that's empty. He was transporting a lot of clothes and vinegar and pickled vegetables.
Way too much vinegar.
Yeah.
I remember.
Yes. And there was also an arrow in the side of the cart, which was one of your indications of foul play, not just a natural washout. And you guys spotted a lookout perch and you've been following that up. You found a trail which is leading higher up into the mountains that has obvious footprints in the mud that you know you're heading towards some kind of an encampment. So that is where we are going to pick things up. I'm going to, before we get into the game, I'm going to tell you guys, you all have 3 experience points over the course of what you've done so far. We can spend those later. I'd rather not do that in the middle of the stream, because usually you need to have some kind of a downtime to do your training anyway. So it's in the late afternoon. You're high in the mountains. You know you have a few hours of good sunlight left before it's going to start getting dark. You know, it gets dark quick in the mountains. And you guys had elected to not head back to town immediately because you still had a few hours before you could still head back to town and make it before nightfall. You guys know that this path you're following, there's much better visibility looking down than you looking up. So there's any number of places where lookouts or snipers with bows could be positioned as you're going up this path. So what is your, imagine you're going up a switchback. So what is your plan of attack here?
Which it is though kind of tactically unsound to just go up the mountain.
Do we have another alternative?
I mean, technically, there's always an alternative.
There's always alternatives.
Because Kage is just meeting all of you guys, he's going to ask you all, what can you each bring to the table?
Is that relevant presently?
Well, if you could fly, that'd be real useful right now, I'm sure.
What are your specialties?
I'm a bit spread out skill-wise. I'm not exactly a climber, though.
Me neither.
I'm much better with
My
my
plate-
mouth than I am with my hands in the court and with the kami.
My place is in the courts mostly, but I'm very good with a bow.
Pat, I don't know if as a player you know this, but one of the more useful things you can do as a Shugenja is to commune with the spirits. And like if you want to gain information about like what's up the mountain, asking an earth spirit or asking an air spirit might be at least safer to your skins than actually just like going up the mountain.
Yeah, thanks for that. I wasn't really thinking in that vein.
You're the Shugenja, so yeah, you got to think Shugenja options.
I can commune with the spirits. I'm thinking of the air. Maybe try to get an idea of whether or not they've seen other people along this pass or people that are scouting out. Mechanically, how do I go about doing this? If I understand, this is a communing with the spirits is a downtime activity, so it takes a little bit of time.
Well, you guys are not in the middle of anything, so if you want to kind of hang out and take a couple minutes while he does his talking to the spirits thing, that's up to you guys.
So yeah, I can get us some information. It's hard to say exactly how valuable the information would be. The kami tend to talk in ways that are riddles to mortals. This will take me a few minutes to do, if you would kindly wait and allow me to speak with them.
Yeah, sure. I don't see any better options available currently.
Would these few minutes to wait be an ample opportunity to enjoy some sake so I could get rid of some
well, actually, that's a good point. Since the last scene we had with the boar, you guys would drop down to half of your maximum fatigue and half of your maximum strife. So that's immediate.
Rounded up or down?
It should be an even number, I believe.
Well, my strife is at 5.
Okay, well then, your current strife?
Yeah.
look at a character sheet.
I was about to say, I think it goes to half of whatever your
maximum. So yeah,
the attribute.
So in your Akane, your composure is 6, so your strife will drop down to 3.
Okay.
Oh, okay. So I lose all my strife because I have an 8 composure.
So it'll drop down to 4, unless you're already at 4 or less.
Yeah, so I'm down to 0.
Oh, well, I'm going to enjoy some sake. Yeah.
Now, for the communion with the spirits, forgive me, I don't have the rules immediately handy. Would
Okay.
someone
Yeah,
kindly
so
help
actually
me with
this-
the mechanics?
So this is actually a ritual, not an invocation. Older editions, it was a spell. So technically, anybody can do this. You just have to know the ritual. I can't believe Shugensha don't know this. We're gonna have what you are playing Doji Nai. Do you have all your character sheet done? All your rituals and spells and whatnot?
Yes. I have selected out what they are. I just don't immediately remember what role I have to do to commune with the spirits.
Okay. So first of all, you're going to pick which kind of spirit. Sounds like you wanted to do air, so you already picked that already.
Yes, sir.
So you're going to do a target number 1 theology check. And of course, this is a situation where extra successes don't help. You just opportunities is what gives you more help.
Now is that an opportunity with the strife there on the 3rd black die, or is that the explosive success symbol?
So the 3rd ring die is an explosive success and a strife.
I'll just go with the unstrifed success and not worry about having any opportunity for it.
All right. So no opportunities. You just have a success. Okay. Air spirits are, pardon the pun, flighty, but they are. They like to talk in jokes and riddles, and they're the most capricious of all the spirits. So you have successfully communed with some air spirits on the wind up here in this pass, and the spirit you're talking to seems to be entertained that you're talking to it, and you can ask your question. So you can do one of the. You can either have it tell you something it knows, or have it give you some kind of a gift. Like with an air spirit, can give you a gust of fresh air. You want to know something that it knows.
Yeah. So I want to know something that it knows. If I'm allowed to be any form of specific about it. The curiosity.
You can be as specific as you want, but it's an air spirit. It's
it'll answer capriciously. Yeah. So air spirit, can you tell us if there are any other mortal beings along this pass looking down at the road?
You have no opportunities. So it's going to say absolutely. Yeah, it's and then it's kind of laughing. Says it's just a lot of you. You think that's enough?
You don't think it's enough? Enough for what?
It laughs and fades away.
Literally got ghosted.
The only thing that we can really take from that is that there is something. Whether or not it means us harm is hard to say. Probably safe to assume it does. So going down this pass is very likely a situation that there will be an ambush somewhere along it.
Unfortunate.
And the air spirit also was rather amused, thinking that our numbers were not quite enough for what's up ahead.
That's extremely reassuring.
Yeah, that's what I'm feeling.
Well, we're useless if we're dead.
Okay.
Agreed.
Do we really need to get up to the top of this mountain and find out all the fine details? I mean, we know the gist of the story.
We completed the job, haven't we?
That's my take.
Okay.
Then let us go back.
We might be
agree.
able to send up some other security folks down this way, perhaps. Maybe some Ashigaru.
Yeah,
I'm not too
perhaps.
certain what favors or commands that we'd be able to make use of.
Okay.
Well, it's
If you're going to turn around, you have plenty of time. You don't have to travel hard to make it back to town before sundown. And that's good because you got a grievously injured member of your party, so you don't want to have to ride hard.
and a headless body.
Yep. So the heading back, you're not going to have any problems getting back to town. What you're going to have to think about is how you're going to present your findings to the magistrate. You're going to head to the Ide family, he's a member of the Unicorn clan. The Ide family are kind of the unicorns analog for the Yasuki of the crab. They deal in a lot of money changing. They don't do merchant activity directly, unlike the Yasuki, but they do patronize merchants. They work one step removed, but they're still very focused on merchant activities. As Biden Pass is a major artery through a mountain range, unicorn merchant traffic travel through here just like everyone else's. And since the magistrate you work for is affiliated with the unicorn clan, this Ide merchant was happy to offer the magistrate and her assistants, that's you guys, some rooms, because hey, it's good to have an in with the police. If the police are based out of your house, you're probably going to get some good service from the police. So that is the situation you're heading back to town in. As a reminder, the town is inside of Scorpion territory. It's a traveler's town based on a major trade route. The economy of the town is all about merchant traffic. Lots of taverns, lots of inns, lots of places of entertainment, both above board and below board.
I would like to devote my attention to getting the crane Yusuke appropriately interred or funeral rites arranged.
Okay.
I was about to say that.
Okay. Do you want to do that before reporting in?
Yes.
Um,
My general thought process. Ooh, that's
Or you
a
could
little
split
different.
up.
Yeah.
They would want to see
They
the
would.
body, wouldn't
They would. Yeah. So I'm thinking report in first. Also, because I don't want to just go into a town and start doing stuff of my own volition without the lord of the town knowing that I'm there, right?
The person in charge of the town you don't report to. You report to this magistrate who's based out of the merchant's house.
Well, yeah, I mean, I could probably go about and do what I need to do, and I'm just fine. But it seems a little bit more respectful to be like, "Hey, checking in."
Okay. So everyone is heading to the Ide estate to meet with your boss. Shinjo Oshito is her name.
I find that agreeable.
Okay.
Yep.
What are you going to do with the body? Because they're really not going to appreciate you dragging that into the house.
Oh,
Yeah.
I have no intention of bringing it inside.
You're just gonna leave it at their front gate?
So my intention is I'll stay with the body out the front gate. The rest of you, or at least some of you guys, can go in my stead. I'll wait here.
Aren't you the talker?
I'm one of the
Well, no.
talkers. I'm not the only talker.
Okay.
We got a party full of talkers.
I'm the one who's not afraid to touch the body.
Yeah, you're the corpse toucher.
So here's my thought. Kage and I will stay here with the body. I can't touch it, but at the very least, if we have a Ronin out here with an obvious dead crane, that might be a little bit worse than if it was a Ronin out here, or a crab, sorry, with a dead crab. It might be a little bit better if I was here as well.
Okay.
I guess that leaves us, Saito.
That it does. I will proceed in.
Okay, so
Likewise.
Saito and Akane are going to go report in. Kage, I didn't catch what you're going to stay with. Doji Nai.
I'm gonna stay with Doji Nai and the body.
Alrighty.
We're doing the number one mistake of all RPGs. We are splitting the party.
No.
Hey, we're in a town.
We're in a town. We're next to a corpse.
Yeah, you're going to have to get the party sooner or later.
Nothing can go wrong.
So there are
fall away.
there are some Ashigaru employed by the master of the manor. They all know that you live here. They recognize you. They grant you entry to the front gate of the manor. A Rokugani noble estate has got an outer wall. Inside the compound, they've got various structures. There's going to be the main house. There's a guest house. There's servants' quarters. Since this is a unicorn estate, they have a stable. Some perhaps more civilized clans in the eyes of our lion and our scorpion. You'd be more expecting to see a Zen garden or a tea house, the place where the unicorns are bothering to keep a bunch of smelly horses. But you are ushered in to the main house. You're announced. Do you want to take time to get washed up or report immediately?
I vote getting washed up.
Okay.
Gotta maintain appearances for meetings.
You both know your boss. You know that she is less worried about that standard of decorum than you're both used to. But I'll let you do a air and courtesy.
Come on, guys. They're unicorns. What do you expect?
Yeah. To get a good idea of whether whether she would more appreciate you reporting immediately or more appreciate you getting cleaned up.
All right. You said that was air courtesy, right?
Yeah. Target number, you work for her, so target number 1.
Okay. So I got 1 success, 1 opportunity.
Okay. Is there anything you guys want to do with your opportunities? And of course, mark your strife if you keep any.
Yeah. I'm going to. You said it was TN1, right?
Yep.
I'll just keep my explosive success.
Okay. So yeah, no opportunities, no strife.
Yeah.
All right. How about you,
play
Saito?
that game?
There's not really a lot that I can do with my opportunity, so.
Well, it's on you to be creative with it. You can do anything you can think of with it.
Would this be considered a downtime activity at all?
Well, we're in a narrative, but what's the context for downtime activity? What's the follow-up question?
I want to see if I can figure out an advantage or disadvantage of my my scorpion friend here.
For this, no. But during the presentation,
Get out of my head.
yeah, when you're reporting, absolutely.
Okay.
For this role, no.
Okay. You know what? I'll just use it to reduce one of my strife.
Fair. Okay. So you guys both have one success. You know that she doesn't stand on those traditional expectations. A lot of magistrates would be insulted if you didn't bathe before meeting them. You both know she would want to hear your report immediately, and then you can go about your your other activities.
Okay.
So there is a great hall where you're made to wait before you're ushered into a side hall. It's kind of like the merchant's personal meeting room that the Shinjo Oshito is making use of. She is not wearing her armor. She's wearing unicorn-style riding clothes. She's still wearing fur and leather in her day-to-day clothes, which is very unusual for both of your tastes, but not so much for the
Gross.
unicorns. She's on a slightly raised dais at the end of the room. There are no yojimbo or bodyguards. This is kind of an informal meeting, and you all know each other, and you work for her, so there's no like reporting into a daimyo kind of an etiquette here.
Got it.
So she says, I'm glad to see that you're back so soon. I've heard rumors that one of your number was hurt. As a game master, can't remember his name. Naomi.
Oof.
Naomi. She asked you how was he. I heard he was injured.
Yeah, he is. He's hurt, but he's stable for the time being. But he's definitely gonna need some time to recover.
Oh, she says, I see. That's terrible news, but I'm glad that it's not worse. So tell me what happened.
Well, it would appear that the merchant that we were sent to find was attacked and was killed. We have brought the body in case there wants to be further investigation upon it. We did track some form of passage up into a pass above where the main road goes, but we thought better than to go with such a small number, just in case there was more than what we could handle.
So you had
Tactically, it
indications.
didn't make sense.
You had indications there was a large number of them.
Yes,
What were those indications?
the kami.
And you guys also know that there was a lot of footprints.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm just
Also the
gonna
footprints.
leave it with the kami.
All right, fair.
I'm gonna bring up the footprints. Like,
There we
was
go.
a lot of footprints. And also, again, catering to our injured friend, we felt it better to return first and get everything together, so we can make it prepared. Let's play it from there.
She says, "What were you able to find out anything about this hostile force?"
There's definitely an ambush, and I suspect there may have been some contraband aboard that vessel. Just judging by an irregular amount of vinegar that was located, and just the things that were taken. They took his head, his weapons, and
Oh, you did not recover his swords?
they were already gone.
His family will not be pleased.
Yes, it seems this was not necessarily a random incident. It seems it was much more personal in that regard.
would you, in your judgment, view that other merchants may be in similar peril? Or do you think this is a one-off event?
As it stands, this seems more of a one-off event, just again, given the personal nature of the attacks. I mean, if your goal is to just kill someone and steal from them, that happens a lot. But to decapitate and take their weapons,
okay,
so
a targeted assassination. Then that's your suspicion.
This seemed
something
like
of
a
that
message.
nature. Yes.
This seemed like a message to me, a message being sent.
Yes, this is very intentional.
Okay. Oshito looks at you, Saito. She says, "A message to whom?"
To whomever, whatever person, criminal organization, or master that this merchant served.
Well, there's no indications he was part of a criminal organization. He's an avowed member of the Yasuki family.
Didn't our friend, they bring up something about gambling at one point? I don't remember the details. I might have to ask him again, but I do remember hearing something about gambling. Or was that not shared in character?
That was shared in character.
That was shared.
Okay.
Kage said that told you guys that this was a samurai who was hanging out with merchants, and they often went gambling, and the merchants were waiting for him to show up to gamble. But last time they saw him, samurai acted like a jerk and said, "You're beneath me," blah blah blah, the usual samurai crap to merchants and whatnot.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think you may have spoiled some opinions of him with his gambling circles.
Okay.
I don't remember quite all the details. We'd have to talk to him or to our Ronin friend specifically, but there is that.
Indeed. She says that I thank you for your service. We are going to have to find out what's going on. It sounds like it could be that he had made some enemies, perhaps gambling, and if he was murdered for whatever reason, that's a matter for justice to resolve, and his family deserves no less. They would expect that. She says, I mean your great clan no disrespect, Bayushi Akane, but I fear we may not get much help from the Scorpion magistrates as the killing took place in Biden Pass. I will approach my peers and see how willing they are to what assistance they can lend. But in the meantime, I fear it's going to be on your shoulders to find his killers and bring them to justice. I would like to assign you a task, and by you she means your whole team, not just one or two of you. I would like one of you to write a letter to Yasuki Rakurustaburu's next of kin to explain what happened to him, to reassure them that justice will be served.
Okay.
I would also like you to handle any investigations you deem necessary. I want 2 lines of inquiry. I want to find out who did this, and if there's an ongoing threat to other merchants that needs to be found out. And of course, we need to find out who's the guilty party so that the Emperor's good justice can be meted upon them.
Agreed.
She says, I think you have much work to do.
That we do.
Okay. I'm going to switch over to Dojinai and Kage, who are outside with the horses and a dead body just here in the middle of town that you can see the peasants are distressed overseeing, and they're kind of gossiping about. You guys know that rumors are rippling out from the site of this corpse out in front of the Unicorn Estate here. So,
I'm not
would
too
you
certain
like to
what
do
all
anything?
what all we might have to obscure the body, but I would at least try to make some effort that it's not too horrible of a sight. But I don't know if that would really have much of an effect.
Give me a skullduggery. Hiding a corpse sounds like that'd be the right skill.
Let me pull up the Shido. And being kind of like a sneaky get type action, would that be air rain? Makes sense.
Well, you pick the stance.
Well, so I'm trying to obscure something. Change
Air
the way
sounds pretty plausible.
something
Yep.
Is presented.
And this is honestly the sort of thing I would hide the target number on. So you're going to get a void point because I'm hiding the target number.
Okay. So my intention will be to take that strife and both opportunities with that one success. Try to take the best chance I have at getting something good out of this action.
All right. So what would you like to do with your opportunities? You're in an air stance. You can look at things you can do with air opportunities. Those include you're doing a trade skill. That's not, you're not going to convince anyone to pay more for the corpse because you're not trying to sell it. You're trying to hide it. You know what? I will say, instead of paying 10% more, you can make it, whatever 10% more hidden counts as.
Or perhaps I'm also implementing a little bit of misdirection. Perhaps I'm trying to take their attention elsewhere, either through myself.
So do you want to spend
like
one or two opportunities on doing a better job?
I want to spend both opportunities on doing a better job. My biggest concern is to try to take attention away from the. So I do intend on taking that strife.
Okay. All right, and just for a narrative, what are you doing to take attention away from the corpse?
So my character is not unaccustomed in some regards to speaking with the common folk and the like. I have a little bit of skill in some trade.
Well, the skill roll is already the.
Well, I know.
Yeah,
I'm more or less just
already made.
So,
my
intention is to essentially to engage with the common folk, like talk among them.
Okay.
Try to do it in a manner where it's like, don't pay attention to the Ronin over here and the sleeping guy.
Sure. Okay.
Please don't pay attention to the headless man behind the curtain.
Yeah, there's nothing to see here. A dead body in the back of a horse. There's nothing to see. Move along. Kage, are you wanting to do anything about this growing scene? Doji Nai is, doing what he can to mitigate the disturbance, but would you like to assist in some way by doing something else?
Can I also do skullduggery or no, because someone already did?
Well, you can, but I mean, he's already trying to hide the body, so.
Because I'm good at skullduggery.
Okay.
So do skullduggery and try to just let's see. Do skullduggery to just not the term is hide in plain sight, but just
Well, tell me what you want to do, and then we'll pick a skill for it.
okay. Kage just wants to not like dip out necessarily, but just be nonchalant as all hell. Act like nothing's wrong. And
Okay.
give the impression of like nothing's wrong. Everyone else shouldn't be freaking out either.
Okay. Well, that sounds like an air stance. But I'll let you roll skullduggery. Sure. And I'm going to say target number 1.
That is a success and 2 explosives.
Yeah. So if you just want to succeed with no opportunities and no strife, you can pick that last die. If you prefer to get some opportunities, you got those 2 explosive successes you can re-roll to see what else you get. Or you can take your 1 success and say, I'm happy.
I'm happy with the 1 success.
There. Okay.
It's a dead body. Relax.
All right. Okay. So I will allow Saito and Akane to come on out and spread word of what bring you guys up to speed, so you're all on the same page. You guys never told.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say you guys never told your boss Shinjo Oshito that you have the body.
I was
if
actually
she knew,
about to bring that up.
yeah, if she knew, I'm sure she would want you guys to deal with it. So.
So that's as we're starting to walk out, I'm going to come to that conclusion that we had forgotten to mention that part, and I'm gonna pop my head back into the room where Shinjo is, and as I'm assuming,
Oshito.
Yep, still there.
Yes.
Okay. The body of the merchant. What do we do with it? Do we give it to representatives of their clan? Do we just give it to the Heyman to bury, burn?
Yes, your character would know. Bodies aren't buried. The religious ritual is cremation. Every town has a crematory.
Yeah, that was a player slip up.
Yep. That's fair. Yeah, I mean your characters have lived in Rokugan their whole lives. They know what Rokugan is like. So yeah, she'll remind you of the crematory. You can have the have the peasants take care of it. The next of kin are gonna appreciate that letter, I'm sure. And if you could turn up his swords, that would bring great honor upon yourselves if you could return that to his family as well.
Can do. And then I will walk outside.
Okay. There's going to be a temple in town. Those of you who need to get purified because you were messing with a body, that'd be probably your first orders of business, which you can do. And I'm going to say Naomi is just going to end up going into the house to be taken care of. So
I would
you
like
guys
to be purified.
Yeah, we can take that as read. That's not going to. That's just a short downtime activity. So
okay.
You can pass off the body to monks and peasants. They'll take care of it. Unless you do want to keep the body for whatever reason, if you do want to do any kind of nasty Kuni like dissections or whatever. But
let's get with all the maho. Let's start early.
Yeah.
So this is why we don't have a Yoko.
Yes. The expectation would be immediately take it to be burned.
Yeah. Would there be any appropriate priestly kind of rituals or anything like that I would be able to participate in paying respects, or is that really just not kind of part of how this works?
If you would like to, yes. But they at the crematory, they've already got a priest and monks to do that. But if you would like to assist them, that would also not be turned down.
I will request. I obviously I won't make it a demand or make it a statement. I will make it a request to those monks and priests that I would appreciate it if I'm allowed to assist
All right.
them.
Yeah, absolutely. Is it going to be just you?
Yeah, but we're just playing around with corpses.
Yeah. I mean, do you guys want to go to a funeral for a crab, basically?
No.
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
Kage will tell you guys after he gets purified. You guys can meet. We could meet up in the usual middle of the road tavern. We could have sake and discuss next plans.
I like it.
All right. Let me take a quick check. I'm going to move us to the honor gains. So I move myself. I'll move you guys as well. There we go. Now we can also see honor gains.
I'm going to go ahead and whenever we're starting, like everybody's splitting up and going their own separate ways, I'm going to go ahead and go to said tavern, and I'm going to start working on that letter.
Okay. Doji Nai, I'm going to say you're going through the extra effort for the funeral of Yasuki Rakugo Saburo. That would be a minor honor gain in the courtesy tenet, I would say. And since you're a crane, you get double that. So, boom. So that would be 6th honor for you.
Good
Do
job.
I
Yeah.
mark that on, or did you have control of marking that?
I'll let you go ahead and keep track of that. I'm going to be too busy to do that, I'm sure.
So just to verify to make sure I'm not doing
And-
something silly, I had 30 before you said anything, so now I have 36.
Yep. And since let's say everybody gained +1 as well for finding out what happened doing your Lord's orders. So 37 for your Doji Nai and 1 for everyone else.
Seems legit.
And somebody remind me to tell Chris for next time. I'm going to give him a minor reward for courage for facing down that boar.
All right.
Like a hoss, too.
That's right. That's right. He ought to get something out of that.
Yeah.
He did. He got gored.
Yeah.
That was his reward.
He got a new scar.
He picked a fight with a boar, and he got his reward.
He got a boar tusk. He just didn't get to keep it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So why don't we go on a 5-minute break? This is a pretty good breaking point. Let's do bathroom breaks and food or whatever.
All right.
And let's meet back in 5. Alrighty, hello everybody. We are back. We have some Yoriki with a mystery to solve, and we got some time yet in the session to do it. So let's go mystery machining.
Alrighty.
You guys we're talking about some ideas, maybe splitting up, maybe not. I don't know. What is your guys' plan of attack? I believe Saito said you wanted to start on the letter.
I'm
going to start on the letter.
I'm
All
just
right.
going to go straight to the sake house and start working on that letter.
Okay. Do you have any special fancy paper and ink? If not,
I, in fact,
do you want
do.
to acquire some? Okay, fair enough.
I'm from a storyteller bardic school. Of course, I
Fair.
have fancy paper. I also have
All
a
right.
musical instrument.
Well, I don't know if that'll work in a letter, but yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna go in and I am going to sit down, order myself a drink, put it on the magistrate tab. Um, and yeah, I'm going to use my composition. Um, Basically, the way that I'm wanting to write this letter is I'm wanting it to sound as if he died, or the person like died honorably,
Okay.
and that they were an upstanding person, and that there is no hint of any kind of foul play involved with them specifically, that they were just a bad product of circumstance.
Okay.
I'm gonna use
So
air.
what kind of details do you want to put in? Because I know, I guess, yeah, all the foul play stuff you want to leave out. So what do you want to put in?
Basically, that they were ambushed. That they were ambushed along the road by a number of a much larger force of brigands.
I thought that was, I would have said that was foul play. So I want to understand. Yeah.
I was gonna say I was gonna say like bandits or something, because
I
my
think
character. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, I think you're trying to like imply that the crab himself doesn't have any reason for having so many bad people. He was just the crab himself was good. Any foul play was completely unrelated to what illicit dealings he may or may not have had. In this instance, may not.
Okay.
Yes, because basically what I'm doing is I'm saying that me personally, I think the crab probably deserved it, because he either had gambling debts, or he was involved in something that he shouldn't have been. Because why else would you have a hidden compartment in your wagon? But I'm not going to tell this crab's family that. My deal is that he was attacked on the road, product was taken, his product was stolen, and it was just a bad place, or wrong place, wrong time situation.
Okay.
But that I'm sure that he fought honorably and defended himself, and blah blah blah. And I'll pretty it up as best I can with.
Are you going to address the swords being missing, or not, or just leave that unaddressed?
I will say at the end of it that we are investigating further to ensure that the people who have done this will be brought to justice swiftly. And upon completion of that investigation, we will send his personal effects back home.
Okay. I like it. I will lower the target number to 1, because I like everything you had said there.
All right. Composition air.
Okay.
Okay. Nice. And it is an artisan skill.
Oh, so let me put us on a helpful page. I only put myself on the page. Come on, roll 20. Behave. All right, you should see charts now.
Ah, there we go. Okay. Yeah, I was going through each one of the handouts. I think because this is relaxing for me, just because it's nice and fun to make up stories about people.
Okay.
I'm just going to go ahead and use one of the opportunity that I got to remove strife, but I will also take the 2 successes that do not have strife on them. So 2 successes, 1 opportunity.
Okay. Well, you only needed 1, but yeah. So take a opportunity to remove a strife. Okay. Now this is something that's probably going to take you several hours.
Oh yeah.
You're going to be indisposed for the immediate future, but who knows? Everyone else may do something that takes them a while as well. So what are the rest of you doing while the Akoma handles the glorification of the recently deceased?
Hage will enter the Red Heron, and he will give just a kind wave to Denji, and when he sees his friend at the table, he'll motion to the table, basically to non-verbally say that's where I'm sitting. And he'll just go over there and sit down, and he'll ask, "How's the letter going?"
Well, I'm having to make up a quarter of it, so it's going okay.
It's usually how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What about Akane and Nai?
Akane is going to look into this, into some gambling.
Do you
See
know
if I can-
anybody who might be involved in gambling? Do you have those kinds of connections? I say sarcastically.
I might know a person or two. To get me
All
in
right.
the right circle, so to speak.
Well, this is your home territory, so to speak. You have lots of connections. You're not going to have to settle for talking to one person. So why don't you tell me what information you're looking for, and you're probably going to be able to bounce around various places until you find the right information you're looking for.
I'm going to see about these gambling merchants specifically.
Okay.
Uh,
Specifically being the two that Kage said he talked to?
Yeah. I guess, did Kage give names?
We don't, neither the game master nor the player remember their names, but yes, they had names.
Okay, that's fine. As long as there were names involved.
Yes.
I'm like, oh yeah, I need to know where, what's his name's playing at.
Guy 1 and 2.
Okay. So you want to track down their locations, those two specific merchants, okay? That may take you a while. Nye, do you want to help somebody else doing their thing, or do you want to do your own thing?
Actually, wait. You said it's going to take, like, how long of a while are we thinking? Because I also wanted to check on that letter.
I'm figuring you could probably spend a couple hours, greasing palms and doing your thing to find out the information you're looking for.
Okay. Cool.
So you'll probably be doing that up until sundown, and that's really when the gambling halls really start rocking anyway. So
fair enough.
Doji Nai.
The only thing I really have in mind is essentially kind of a bit of fluffy type stuff. So after I help with the priests say the final rites and all that, when they cremate the bodies, is it a situation in this setting where it's like an urn? Is there like some sort of physical place this happens, or they get kind of like just scattered somewhere, or they're sent to a family?
Well, somebody of the samurai status would get an urn. Most people don't, but yeah, in his case, he'd get an urn.
So, is it getting too late in the day for any merchants or marketplaces to possibly still be open at the time, or would I have a chance to possibly try to acquire some flowers so I can make an arrangement to adorn the urn?
Well, you're gonna probably have to acquire the urn.
Okay.
So you can do that as well. So why don't we? All right. So Kage, are you gonna just be assisting in the letter, or what was your plan?
Kage is obviously waiting for everyone to get back together so they could talk plans, but in the meantime, he wanted to talk to Denji about what he noticed about the sake earlier when he was drinking.
Okay, so yeah, we're kind of splitting the party up. This is fine, but you're in a village. You guys are samurai. You have swords. You'll be fine. Why don't I work around? I'm in the Discord, so we'll do Akane, then Nai, then Kage. So Akane, you are trying to track down the location of these two merchants, and merchants can be notoriously hard to find because they're inherently mobile. But you know the right kinds of people to talk to. So what is your approach in tracking them down? What's your general strategy here? We'll pick a skill for that.
What's that? Okay. I guess in this case, skullduggery may be my approach, just because of the nature of their gambling habits. From what I've been exposed to thus far regarding them, just to find something a little bit, I guess, more. Seems like they'd be something more seedier anyway. So just trying to.
Well, yeah. Without speaking skill wise, like what's do you want to go to gambling houses and talk to gamblers and say, "Have you seen these guys?" Or what's the general idea?
Not necessarily asking everybody. Maybe going from hall to hall, playing a game or two listening in on what people are saying, seeing if I pick up anything interesting in that regard, and then following up on those leads.
Okay, well, being indirect, of course, would take longer. So
True.
bear that in mind. So air and skullduggery sounds like a perfect combination for that kind of a strategy. So
All right.
I'm going to say, since you're doing it indirect and long like that, I got my eyes closed so I don't get influenced by your roll.
Oh, sorry.
I'm going to say target number 2. Why not? Okay.
All righty. All right. So I'll let's see here. That's opportunity and strife. That's explosive. Is that success
Wow.
on the strife or
You got a lot of skill and at that.
Yeah, this is my
That's your thing, huh?
This is my main one. Yeah.
This is your jam.
Yeah. All right. Okay, so I got opportunity, strife, or explosive or strife, success. All right. I'll take the explosive and strife. I'll take the regular and opportunity, and I'll take that third opportunity to take out two. I'll take out one strife, and I'll keep that opportunity for tactical purposes.
Okay. So what specifically are you going to apply it towards?
That is a good question. Now let's see how I best can manifest this. Air. It's just.
Well, you could spend a opportunity to be subtle and so that people don't know you're looking for these people.
That's what I'll do.
Sounds good.
I'll definitely,
All right. So you are going to, since you're being indirect, you want to look for openings rather than proactively wait for openings to fall into your lap rather than proactively search for them. So this will probably take most of the night doing it that way.
Okay.
But going around, the right people. You are going to learn that the two merchants, they're partners. They travel together usually, and that means they're also usually in the same games. They gamble together and all that. They are on the road to City of Lights right now, Ryoko Owari. They just left, this yeah, it would be after lunch. They're once you're inside Scorpion territory, you don't have to make it. There's plenty of way houses and whatnot, so you can leave in the middle of the day and still make it somewhere before night. So, they left after lunch, and rumor is they're transporting. What are they? They're carrying crane silk. They just came through the pass the other day, and they're bringing crane silk on their way to Ryoko Owari. That's what you learn from them.
Excellent.
Now these guys are not samurai. They're peasants. They have some mercenaries in their employ, but they answer to a powerful Bayushi in Ryoko Owari. That's where they're based out of.
Okay.
So let us move on to Doji Nai.
So I will be going to go find an urn to try to purchase.
Yeah, something that would. Well, it depends. Do you want to impress the crab or insult them with the urn you provide for the ashes of their deceased?
Obviously, a good crane would want to impress their former cousins.
Okay. So this sounds like trade, kind of a skill. I would say probably labor.
I have commerce. Would that apply, or should this specifically be labor?
I'll let you do commerce. So what
stance would you do for finding a good urn?
I'm not doing anything manipulative. I'm doing something very, just kind of like honest and straightforward.
Yeah, that would probably be earthy. Would be my first inclination.
Yeah, that's what I'm feeling. And that'd be a smaller die
Okay.
pool, but that would go for the intention of the action.
Okay. And you're just looking for something functional, or do you want to actually impress?
I was intending for impress.
Okay, so I'm going to say 2 instead of 1. It'd be 1 just to avoid insult, 2 to impress.
So as it stands right now, I can only keep 1 die. So I'll keep the explosive and the strife, and I'll roll 1 more.
Okay.
Give me a second to pull up the sheet. And would this be it'd be the same die as what the explosion was on, yeah?
Yes. So you're gonna roll a skill die. Okay. 2 successes and a strife, but yeah, you can succeed if you want to take the strife.
Yep, I certainly do.
Okay. That is not going to take you all night to find a suitable urn, but I'm going to say it's going to take you a few hours, though, because samurai don't die every day in a town like this. So you really had to kind of had to scrape the barrel to find something that would impress in a town this size.
Well, I also would like to take some time for this evening to do perhaps a little bit kind of like a bit of a selfish action as well as gather flowers to do an arrangement, something I find very enjoyable, and
Okay.
include that along with the adornment of the urn.
Fair. You can do that at headquarters, or temporary headquarters at least, the Ide estate here in town. So you can go ahead and take strife off for your passion.
How much strife do I get for that action?
I believe passions take away 3.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay, Kage. You wanted to pump the innkeeper for information. Do I remember right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll invite him over originally to have just some sake with me.
And you wanted to ask him about the spoiled or the vinegary sake.
Yeah, just casually ask him because he's a friend of mine. I'll be like, Denji, I notice your sake, it has much more of a vinegar kick to it lately.
Oh, he apologizes profusely. He says, "Oh, that's awful. You're absolutely right. Let me give you the good stuff."
I won't say no.
Okay.
You said you were sitting at the table with me, or am I hearing
Yeah.
any of this? Okay.
Yeah, but when he comes back with the good stuff, Kage will also ask him, goes, is there something, do I know if Denji makes his own sake here, or does he receives it?
He buys it.
He buys it.
He says it's the most foul luck. And he makes a ritualistic sign to appease the spirits. He says, there's an angry spirit. My daughter must have such a trollop. She must have brought shame upon the family or something. He says it's terrible, but don't let this rumor get out. But I fear there's a ghost. A ghost has been soiling the sake.
Your secrets, as always, are safe with me, Denji. And Kage will dismiss him or have him chill out, whatever he wants to do. Kage doesn't care.
Okay.
side quest.
Maybe. Okay. Well, it's not going to take most of you all night to do your things. It's we talked about Akane. It's probably gonna be about midnight by the time you got that information I told you.
Okay.
And to be fair, to do the calligraphy right, it's probably going to take Saito all night as well. So is there anything Nai and Kage would like to do, or should we?
Well, I was going to say I
Go
wasn't
ahead
going
with
to
the next
put
morning.
I wasn't going to put a whole lot of effort into making it look pretty. Just
Well, that's the sort of thing I needed to know. Okay.
yeah. I don't care how pretty it looks. I just want to
Okay.
make sure that the guy seems like an honorable dude. I mean, I'm a
Okay.
lion talking to a crab. A crab's not going to
Okay.
care.
All right. Well, then
I could spend all day on it making it look beautiful, and a crab would just be like, "Okay, cool," and then throw it away.
Oh, he's dead. All right. Well,
Jesus.
then it won't take you all night. Clearly.
This crab shade is killing me.
So Saito, Nai, and Kage, is there anything you'd like to do before you got to retire for the night?
I have nothing
Kage's just fine
specific.
chilling.
Okay.
He's fine just chilling out.
Okay.
This bar that we're in, is it just peasants in here? Or there's samurai too.
There's two, you and Kage.
Oh, okay. So it's just peasants. All right, cool. Let me just
People are nice here.
Let me just double check this right quick. I just opened up the wrong one. So I'm going. Okay, cool. It doesn't say that it has to be samurai. I'm gonna start looking around the room, and I'm gonna survey the room and see if I can figure out who's got some grudges against each other. Because I got some strife I want to shed, and this seems like a great place to indulge in my passion of stirring the
Oh,
pot.
God.
Okay.
You're the one in the back that yelled everyone attack.
I mean, maybe.
All right. Well, by the time you're done, it's probably dinner time or so. It's going to be peak business hours. That means the most amount of people here. Most of them are either mercenaries working for merchants or the merchants themselves. So yeah. I don't know what would be a good skill for reading the room here. Does it say? Does it say a skill?
Yeah, so it says after spending a few minutes studying a room, you can extrapolate who might have a grudge against whom, which two people are on edge around each other, and other social pressure points you could exploit. And then after performing a check to stir up social chaos, such as courtesy fire to incite anger or theology fire to encourage two people to argue, I remove 3 strife. So
Sure.
basically, I can figure out who's cheating who and who's being true and who don't really care anymore. That's a nice little country reference for somebody. But I'm gonna figure out who it is, and I'm gonna start kind of poking that bear a bit. I say bear,
All right.
it's more like a puppy because they're
Yeah. All right. So I will say there's absolutely 2 merchants that you identify who have some obvious to you sort of bad blood. Probably one of them cheated the other, or one of them thinks the other one cheated. That kind of relationship. This is very much like a Rokugan truck stop you're in. The same regulars come and go. They often don't see each other except for when their paths cross temporarily. So a lot of these grudges don't get resolved; they just fester. And you can identify 2 merchants who have such a festering grudge. One of them is he's been paying in Phoenix minted coin. And the other one seems to be more local.
okay. I'm gonna go to the out of towner.
Or no.
Sure.
I'm gonna go to the local. I'm gonna go to the local.
Okay.
I'm gonna go to the
Well,
local.
they're at different tables. They
Yeah.
clearly don't like each other. But you've been catching the glares and some of the things they've said about each other. They're happy to tell you they're just on the verge. They're not openly insulting each other, but they're doing it to their
They're
friends about
sniping.
each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go to the local.
All right. Local probably needs a name. So he is Mamoru.
Mamoru. Wonderful. I'm gonna go to Mamoru, and I'm gonna sit down. I'm gonna ask, may I have a seat? Oh wait, I will, and then I'm gonna sit down anyway.
Okay.
Be sure to write down Mamoru. The chat says. So I'm gonna sit down. I'm gonna say, so Mamoru, I noticed that there might be someone kind of, and I'm gonna do this little like head nod that I'm demonstrating, just 'cause somebody that's kind of moving in on your territory. What I hear is he's telling everybody in town that you have inferior goods, and he's planning on running you out.
Okay.
And I'm gonna use I know it's gonna be a fire ring.
Yeah, if you want to incite emotions, that's fire. The right kind of skill, I think, is going to be sincerity.
Sincerity. Where is my sincerity skill?
And it looks like somebody gave you a silver gift.
I see courtesy. I don't see sincerity.
5R. I didn't do that right. Reverend, can you put the thing in the chat again to show what silver gives?
Hey, thanks, Teslin. I'm glad somebody caught that reference.
Silver is skill ring.
Okay, so you get an extra skill ring die.
Sweet.
And is sincerity not a skill? Am I thinking old editions?
Yeah, that's an old edition one. I think courtesy is kind of the catch-all now.
It looks like it. So there you
All right.
go.
So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna use that extra skill die now.
All right. I'm gonna say secret number. So you get a void point.
Okay.
And
with that being the case, go ahead.
And I'm also going to let you know, not only is it a secret number, extra successes will actually count. So that way you don't have to agonize over it.
Yay. All right. With that being the case that I'm getting a void point, I'm going to go ahead and use that void point to get an extra ring die.
All right.
Because, I'm not going to be able to do this very often. So I'm definitely going to take advantage of my opportunity to incite some stuff. All right, so that's the extra fire. Okay. All right. Cool. So I'm going to go ahead and keep the 2 explosive successes and the regular success, which, gives me 3 strife that I'm going to be removing. So cool,
And also, you're in the fire stance, so strife count as extra successes.
Oh, it does! I forgot about that.
Yes.
Oh, man, this is going to be so much fun. And that's another 3 successes for another explosive success and a regular success with a strife. Wow. And I'm gonna see how far we can take this. And an opportunity. Cool.
Okay. So what is your grand total successes?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 successes.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Oh,
that's
No,
amazing.
it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 successes because I forgot to count the strife.
That's like inhumanly good. Okay.
Yup.
And we have opportunities. So what is the opportunity going to go towards?
This is gonna turn into a giant bar fight. I can
Oh,
already
yeah.
feel it.
Oh yeah, with that many successes, yeah, this is blood will be shed.
Extrapolates the motivations. That's boring. Ooh, I could definitely perform the task in a flashy way so everybody knew I started it. That seems like a terrible idea,
Oh my god.
but it would be so funny.
Okay.
I'm going to use my opportunity to inflame another character in the scene.
All right.
Is this merchant sitting with another guy, right?
Yeah, they have circles of friends, sure.
Then yeah, I'm going to incite one of his friends to also be mad at this same situation.
Okay. 9 successes, was it? That's freakishly good. Just as a reference, I want to read this off of the. What is 9 successes good for?
The bad part about this is I used this to get rid of 3 strife, but I ended up gaining 1.
Yes, but you've
this is great. I love this.
you've
This is
established yourself as the fortune of bar fights now.
Kind of, yeah. So an average task is target number 2. Difficult task is 3. Very hard is 4. Extremely hard is 5. Extraordinarily hard is 6. A heroic task, such as out wrestling a troll or naming all of your ancestors in order, that would be target number 7. A legendary task is 8 or higher. That would be like breaking a stone in your bare hands or outsmarting a fortune. So you had quite the flash of inspiration here to drive these merchants to boil over.
You just caused a blood feud.
I didn't just stir the pot. I
Yeah.
threw the fucking thing.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So who else is still here with you? I think Kage, are you still talking to the?
I think it's just Kage.
Yeah, Kage is here, and the bar that he regulars frequently and enjoys how quiet and nice it is, and how nice the owner is, and how nice and quiet things are, like when he likes to enjoy
Yeah.
sake. And then there's going to be blood on the floor.
Okay, well,
You're welcome.
the merchants. The other guy probably needs a name. Let's call him Ito. If one of the two of them, if they both somehow live through this, yeah, there's certainly a feud that's gonna be resentful. But Mamoru and Ito start amplifying their insults to, instead of just talking to their friends at their respective tables, they're getting loud enough to direct it so they can be heard by who they're talking about. And they keep one up on one or the other. And Saito, you keep egging them to come up with ways to one up the other one.
So at this point, I'm going to move away from the group and go back to my table, where I will then lean my chair back, order another drink, prop my feet up on the table, and just on occasion, whenever they give like a real good stinger, I'm gonna come up there and look at the other ones, be like, "Ito, you gonna take that from him? Come on, give him something back."
All right. Kage, what are you doing during all this?
Kage is silently judging his friend. He does not want to get in any conflict, but he is absolutely observing this whole thing.
Okay.
It's very obvious that I've been in my cups.
Yes.
Let's put it that way. I was drinking the whole time I was writing that letter.
Alrighty.
Just channeling my inner Akoma, baby.
Yeah, this is going to have to go to violence. They both have mercenaries. They both have mercenaries here.
I'm so
We didn't
happy.
establish that. I mean, when Kage was here, we talked about how samurai are expected to leave their swords at the alcove when you come in. However, the mercenaries aren't samurai. But they would still be expected to leave whatever weapons they do have, either at the door or outside the door. And there gets to be a rush. One of the mercenaries gets up and grabs his spear, which causes mercenaries on the other side to rush towards the door. Of course, one side is closer to the door than the other, so they have more weapons than the other side when blows start to happen.
Actually, like, as they're all rushing to the door, can Kage actually just say something to them?
Sure.
I don't know what skill this would be or anything, but Kage is going to stand up. He's going to raise his voice rather loudly to just get them to stop for a hot second. He's going to be like, "Hey, take it outside."
All right, this sounds like command. So what stance do you want to use your command with?
Question: can I assist?
If
Now
you
that
want
I see,
to.
now that I see that Kage has a problem with it, I'm gonna assist him in trying to send it outside. I'm gonna drag a chair out there and watch. Obviously,
Guys, there's plenty of room outside. You're gonna have trouble with the spears indoors.
there you go. There you go.
Ooh, gold gift to Kage the Rone. The Rone. Bonus ring die. I think I want to use that for this.
Okay. So what?
And
what
screw
what
it. I'm going to
ring
use
are
one of
we
my
using?
additional skill die.
Yeah, because you got a bunch of skill dice as well.
Yeah, I want this to succeed.
All right. So what is your approach?
Trick, reason, incite, charm, enlighten. Reason. I'm like
Okay.
standing my ground. I'm like, this is an establishment. If you want blood, put it on the streets, not in here.
Okay.
Okay.
That sounds.
So
You can use reason. Would be which one? Fire.
reason is earth.
Earth. I'll buy it.
And then I'm gonna put in 1 ring and 2 skill because I
All right.
want this to succeed.
Okay.
All right.
You're also getting an additional ring die for my assistance.
Okay.
Since I do not have a skill in it.
Well, it would be a skill die, not a ring die.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of counterintuitive until you remember that ring dice are better than skill dice.
Yeah. All right. That's a lot of success.
Yes. Don't tell me, because we have basically a riot on our hands. I'm gonna have to say this is gonna have to be harder than 2. Question is, would this be a 3 or a 4? So, examples of a 3: difficult task, scaling a cliff without a rope, very hard, diving safely from the top of a waterfall, remembering something from years before. I'm going to have to say 4. You're trying to stop a riot, basically. So 4 is my final answer.
Then my final roll is I have a success on every single dice.
Wow.
And that's
So yes.
6 dice total.
Okay.
And you know what? Just because I can, I'm going to take all the successes to really make my presence known here.
Well, extra don't help, but you have 3 explosive successes. If you want to get some opportunities, you can roll those.
But would I lose my successes though?
No,
I could choose not to take it, right?
Yeah, they add to that result. Yeah.
So I have 1 ring explosive and 2 skill explosives. So let me re-roll those.
All right.
All
right.
Successes.
We're all just
Oh,
extra.
that is beautiful.
So that's although you may be able to take less strife now because of those extra successes.
Yeah, I'm gonna remove. Well, yeah, I would only take 3 strife total if I take all of those. Because
you could take no strife. The 2 end ring dice are explosive successes, and then they also got successes. So each of those last 2 dice are 2 successes each. So you can just take those last 2 ring dice and take no strife.
All right, I'm gonna do that. But yeah, I'm gonna make my presence well known. Be like, take it outside. I'm a regular here, so if people are
Okay.
also regular here, they should know that who I am.
All right. Are you going to let them fight, or do you want them to just take the fight outside? Or do you
I
want
want them to
not
take the fight outside.
fair? Okay, that they do. And yeah, there's a disturbance out in the town square, which at least it's not inside the inn.
Love that for them.
So, with that being the case, I am. Sorry, I just read Chaplin's comment. The bar regulars, you tell him, Norm. But I am going to. What instruments are in L5R? Like, 'cause it
There's
says-
string, there's wind instruments, string instruments. They do have.
Samisen, Kodo.
Yeah.
what is the
Couple of
closest thing? What is the closest thing to like a guitar?
Shamisen?
Probably is it
Yeah.
the Shamisen? Which one has? Because like one of them you play with the slap. What do the Toshida brothers play? Or Yoshida brothers play?
Yeah, there's the three stringed instrument. I think that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, they play.
Anyway, something like that.
I'm gonna take that thing outside, and I'm just gonna like play like a song to like this
Yeah,
whole
Shamisen.
thing. Oh, I wish they had that like that little like harp looking thing that's on the thing that like you hit with hammers.
All right.
wish they had that.
I was on the edge with honor loss. I'm gonna warn you. I think I'm gonna have to give you an honor loss if you want to go out there and continue to egg them on after they're already fighting.
I'm not egging them on. I'm just giving them background music.
Yes, that's what I mean. You're. Let me take a look.
So that wouldn't be the honorable thing to do. All right.
Well, it doesn't mean you can't do it.
No, I know, but like at the same time, I'm
honor
not supposed
loss.
to. I'm supposed to sacrifice my honor in service of the Lion Clan, and this isn't in service of anybody. So
This is a bunch of mercenaries.
This is very self-serving.
yeah, it is. And that so I'm gonna watch, but I'm not gonna egg them on anymore.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna say, had you done it just for codification's sake, I don't know. I'd have to call it honor. Would be the tenet, and of course it'd be a minor, thing. So that would only be 3 honor loss. But are you? But you're alliance. That would be double. So no, never mind. You wouldn't want to do that. So
yeah.
You're getting your jollies. You know you caused this fight.
Are you sure you don't want to continue it?
You're
Are
having
you
a
absolutely
lot of
sure
work
you don't
for
want to
removing
continue
strife.
It's a lot of work to remove strife that I net gained 1 strife.
So you should continue to just knock off the strife. Go out there, play the instruments, just try to do it a little less good.
The vicious cycle that never ends. You incite
I mean,
a war,
it's
all
just a
starting
little
from
bit of
this
an honor
conversation in a
loss.
bar.
It didn't pass, just turns into a war. That's great.
Because someone incited something at a sake bar.
Alrighty. Why don't we go to
I
somebody
wanted to go
else?
down in
Yes.
history, didn't I?
Yes, this bar fight was totally non-helpful, and we spent so much time on it. But it was fun. I have to agree. So yes, there are some merchants getting into fisticuffs, as it were. It's more like slap fights because they've never been trained in a martial arts dojo. It's their mercenaries, of course, are all too busy fighting each other to stop the merchants from slapping each other around. So
It's like that fight scene from Too Fast, Too Furious, where it's just like this really uncomfortable looking scuffle.
So yeah, the
that's
town
a
militia, the town militia is having to be called out to pull these merchants and mercenaries away from each other. Let's see. We are 5 minutes into the stream. I don't know that there's really any time to start something else. But were there any other quick ideas you guys wanted to do that night before coming to a new morning? Namely, Akane is going to learn that the 2 merchants that Kage met had already left earlier that day.
So, was there anything else you wanted to do in town, or
No, I think this would have been after all that. After I learned information, I probably would have went to go back to the Red Heron to reconvene
Yeah.
with everybody. And
Yeah, although you find out the town militia is out in force, and there's a bunch of mercenaries are being slapped into stocks.
So
wow.
crazy.
Oh,
You'll find Kage very annoyed in the Red Heron.
yeah.
You'll see Saito sitting out front with an empty sake cup and a turned over and a bottle on its side, as he's just kind of softly like humming and like singing a tune as he's just like watching all of this go down.
That doesn't look guilty at all.
I am just enjoying the show.
What about our flower arranger?
Yeah.
Come, Bayushi, sit with me. Watch the mercenaries as they beat each other senseless.
Yeah, I get back from my
All we
perfectly
gotta do-
peaceful and respectful funeral arrangements and be like, what's going on?
Oh no, they just got into a fight. A couple of merchants hated each other. It's crazy.
Crazy indeed. Alrighty, well, why don't we end the stream on the fun note there. We'll pick this up next week. We're going to do the off cast or the off week. We're going to either talk about rules or really talk about do some one-offs with characters doing their side quests. And then in 2 weeks from today, we're going to have the full cast back, and we'll pick up the main party line quests. And we should thank Sarah and Rem Alternus for giving us this platform to play on. We should do a shout out. We got D&D starting tomorrow. The campaign 2. Zafira, are you in that?
No, I am not in
Okay.
D&D.
Okay. They have an all new cast for D&D. That's going to be tomorrow morning. They're going to do. I'm sure someone can remind me which box set they're going to do. I am not remembering off the top of my head. Don't have that one written down either.
The Ballad of Jedediah.
Yes. They'll be reliving Jedediah's greatest hits.
It looks like it's going to be Dragons of Ice something Peak.
Yes.
Ice Spire Peak.
Yes. So thank you for watching. We'll see you next week.
Thanks,
All right.
everybody.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Night.